When I try to remember the late 90s, I mostly remember climbing into a tanning bed with a rabbit's head sticker pressed to my hip. The same spot every time, for the entire summer of '99. In Pompeii, the third cause of death was instant dehydration triggered by extreme heat. I learned this in school, but never thought of it as I pulled the plastic goggles over my head and lowered the lid. It felt wonderful. It was an actual bed of light. The goggles had tiny pinpricks in the middle, covered with black lenses to protect the thinner skin of the eyelids. I felt a chill of success whenever I surveyed the augmented pigment of my skin. Once, only laborers spent enough time in the sun to tan. If you perform a slight dissection on the word parasol, you get para, to shield, and sol, sun. The events I am telling you about take place after I graduated from a high school that sat in the middle of the country. The Œil de Terreau of America, stoic and dry. Now I am seriously committed to the German, but as a student, I took 1 year of each Romance language. Je m'appelle Jessica. Mi nombre es Jessica. Mi chiamo Jessica. I can recognize a root, determine what lexical waters a word has been washed in. Now, mein Name ist Jessica. I am so much closer to the present. Protection, of course, has always been the prerogative of the rich. Gloves, wide-brimmed hats, mineral creams, smart glass, umbrellas, and veils protect the skin from signs of use. Tans now exist because a French fashion designer spent too long on a yacht in the Mediterranean. She went sailing, and it showed. But all she had to do was say she meant to do it. She was born in an orphanage, and inverted basic economy with a dress that suggested less was actually more. At one point, she was a Nazi intelligence officer. She knew how essential intent is when it comes to assigning culpability, so the tan became fashionable. Another economic subversion. What was once a sign for poverty became a sign of wealth. Probably because I love deception, it impresses me when a person who traffics in images is adept at rhetoric. The designer's name was a diminutive of a diminutive, an abbreviation of the French coquette. My own name means rich, God beholds. I have always felt more the beholder than the beholden, which is why it is very hard to believe in God at all. If this story is about anything, it is about being somewhere in between, the importance of the aurea mediocritas. The opulent wedding ring twisted inward in public, the right balance of visibility and existence. I spent all my time in that sunbed because I didn't have a job. When I finally got one, my skin had the glow of a ham under a heat lamp, the sacre-cœur of a country club Father's Day brunch. My own father didn't eat ham, didn't belong to a country club, and did not worship the sun. Before my disappearance, he was a professor of boredom, and in fact, the founder and chair of the Boredom Studies department at the Midwestern University I dropped out of. My taking time out from the world to meditate on my dermis was rare, hard for him to understand. I believe it made me the primary subject in one of my father's case studies on boredom, maybe even the inspiration for it. There was something almost spiritual to his theories. He taught a course on Chaucer entitled The Devil's Workshop, in which students considered Proverbs 16:27, the professed origin of St. Jerome's declaration, Fac et aliquid operas, ut semper te diabolis inveniat occupatum. Anyway, the final exam for The Devil's Workshop involved a staring contest. Grades were not curved.